Hello, this is Ian from Lean Media. Today I'm going to be talking what the new USPS Ground Advantage shipping rates mean for Etsy sellers. If this video helps, please take a moment to like it and follow me. Let's get started. So I've been an Etsy seller for about 4 or 5 years now. And if you go to shipping settings, they'll talk about US, domestic shipping options that you have. Recently, Etsy shifted from something called first class mail and priority mail to a new service called Ground Advantage. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what Ground Advantage means if you are an Etsy seller. So there is a new webpage on the USPS website explaining what Ground Advantage is. Clearly, they're going after people like us who are shipping lots of little packages. In the past, when we were shipping stuff through Etsy or through other services, we would typically use first class mail or sometimes what's called USPS Parcel Select and occasionally priority mail, which is more expensive. It was confusing for a lot of us, especially for those who are getting started with shipping. And this new Ground Advantage service appears to try to kind of simplify things for sellers who just need to send something using ground shipping in the United States within 2 to 5 business days, which sounds pretty good. Basically, it's an affordable and reliable way to send packages in the U.S. It ships to all 50 states, U.S. military bases, territories, possessions, and freely associated states. So those are places like Guam or places like Puerto Rico, elsewhere in the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. And also, it's a primary option for sending hazardous materials that can't go by air. So this would be something like not only chemicals, but also things like a lithium battery that requires special charging. They do not want that to go on an airplane. So this is just ground shipping. They say prices start at $4.75 at the post office. And actually, if you look at this is the Ground Advantage pricing chart. There's a couple things I want to call out here. The first thing is that in addition to doing up to 1 pound, it also goes over 1 pound. So those of you who have been using first class mail in the past, you know that once something goes over 16 ounces, you have to get priority mail or parcel select, each of which comes with some big drawbacks. A priority mail, first of all, is more expensive, as they show up. I think they have a chart up here. Yeah, this is a far more expensive option. Like you can see, 1 pound in zone 1, that's $9.35. Compare that to Ground Advantage. 1 pound in zone 1 is $7.60, and that's the listed rate on the USPS website. Usually, if you're buying through Etsy, it will be discounted a lot. So, for instance, I recently bought a zone 5 12-ounce package. According to the USPS website, it's $6.40, but I actually paid like $4.80 or something on Etsy. So I was pretty happy about that. So this is a less expensive option, especially for packages that are over 1 pound, up to 70 pounds. That's the maximum weight. Yeah. And there's a couple other things that you should know as well. One is that this Ground Advantage, it comes with insurance, just like priority mail. The other thing you should know is that if the package is big or an unusual size, I think parcels that exceed 22 inches, but not greater than 30 inches, you have to pay a $4 surcharge on top of that. So just be aware of things like that if you're shipping something like, a tiki torch or maybe like a commemorative bat via Etsy. The other thing that you should be aware of is that there are some growing pains with this particular service. This is something that I saw on the e-commerce Bytes website. They say the transition to Ground Advantage runs into minor technical issues. Now, this is dated June 30th, so they just fired up the service recently. I would say in the first month or two, there's probably going to be technical issues as local post offices and all the shipping services kind of get their act together and figure out how to work this thing out. But once that's done, it should be smoother, which is good news for any Etsy sellers who are selling in the holiday period, which of course is a big period for all of us. So the other thing I wanted to show you is what a Ground Advantage label looks like. I've removed all of the personal information from this particular label, but the big thing that many of you will notice, especially if you've been using first class mail or priority mail in the past, there's a big G in the upper left corner. If it was first class mail, it was an F, or priority mail, it was a P. If you're using Parcel Select, I think they blacked it out. But anyways, now it says G. So when you hand this off to the post office staff, they see the G. They know exactly what that package means and where it's going to be going. So this is what you should expect when you purchase labels from Etsy. It will look something like this. And I'm cautiously optimistic that this is an improvement over the old services, which were first class mail and priority mail in my case. In some other cases, it was also the Parcel Select. But let's see how it goes. Etsy did a pretty smooth integration. Like, I didn't have to tweak any settings or change any things. In some cases, if you are an Etsy seller, you may need to go into your shipping settings. So click on settings and then click on shipping settings and make alterations as required for your particular business and how you handle shipments. But if in many cases you won't even have to do anything, because I already had the domestic shipping running and Etsy just kind of smoothly flipped it over to Ground Advantage, and I'm pretty happy about that. For more information on how to get the most out of your your online business or your Etsy business, you can follow me and like this video. That would be helpful. Also, if you go to my official website, leanmedia.org, click on blog or video. I have lots of free resources with dealing with Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and also Amazon. Thank you so much for watching.